Apple is reportedly testing RAM chips from a U.S.-blocked Chinese company. The U.S. government wants to restrict corporate use of Chinese AI. And DuckDuckGo's browser can now block video ads, including YouTube's. It's Wednesday, July 8th, and here's a quick look at some of the news happening in and around tech this morning from Engadget. Apple has reportedly started testing DRAM chips made by Shangshan Memory Technologies, which was recently blacklisted by the Defense Department for devices meant to be sold within China. According to the Financial Times, Apple has already progressed to testing the company's memory chips with its devices, while it is still lobbying the U.S. government to give it permission to use CXMT's products. The Times first reported that Apple was looking to buy DRAM from the Chinese chipmaker in late June. Earlier in the month, the Pentagon added CXMT to its 1260H blacklist, made up of companies it believes are linked to the Chinese People's Liberation Army. Reuters reported in mid-June that the Trump administration held off on adding CXMT, along with other Chinese companies like DeepSeek, to the blacklist in order to avoid escalating tensions with Beijing. However, the latest copy of 1260H from the Defense Department's website clearly includes Shangshan Memory Technologies. In its report, the Times explains that CXMT was pretty unknown globally and was bleeding billions before the industry's memory shortage problem had thrust it into the spotlight. It's now the fourth largest producer of DRAM in the world, after Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron. The company has 15 state-owned shareholders at the moment, at least, and most of its privately owned funds are backed by state-owned partners. It reportedly plans to raise $4.3 billion in an upcoming IPO. Now, technically, Apple is not prohibited from doing business with companies on the 1260H list, CXMT included, but it could face repercussions if it does not get the Trump administration's blessing. Apple reportedly approached the U.S. government about using CXMT's products in late May or early June, and has been using its connections in Washington in hopes of getting the White House to agree. Buying chips from CXMT could help Apple weather current memory shortages. It's already getting DRAM from Micron, Samsung, and SK Hynix, but it still had to raise prices across its iPad and Mac lineups. Apple is expected to face objections from Congress if the president agrees to its plan, however, with U.S. Representative John Molinar already calling the potential partnership a grave mistake. The U.S. is gearing up to at least try and stifle American companies' use of Chinese-made AI models in their operations. CNBC quoted an unnamed State Department spokesperson who said the use of Chinese models by U.S. companies raises serious concerns. The unnamed individual added that Chinese AI is designed to advance Beijing's narratives, censor dissent, and reflect CCP ideology and values. The report claims U.S. companies are opting for Chinese AI models due to their lower cost and comparable quality. It cited Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, who posted about the company's use of two Chinese-made AIs, GLM 5.2, made by Z.AI, and Kimi 2.7, which is a product of Moonshot. An additional CNBC report from June quoted the CEO of startup Lindy, which switched to DeepSeek to help curb surging costs. Another driver could be the instability of the status quo with the U.S. government and its domestic AI champions. A few days ago, Nikkei Asia reported on a surge of American companies, including Airbnb and Uber, racing to adopt Chinese AI models. It said the surge correlates with Anthropic's suspension of the use of two models, Mythos 5 and Claude Fable 5, at the behest of the government. Now, it's not clear if the U.S. could directly impose a sweeping ban on the market's choice of AI models beyond altering its own procurement rules. And it is likely the U.S. would not be eager to restrict the use of open-source models, given the potential First Amendment issues that would create. Now, not to mention, it would be difficult to demand companies change their operations in overseas territories. Apple, for instance, uses Alibaba's generative AI platform for iPhones sold in China. Now, what is clear is that there is no love lost between the U.S. and China on the subject of the use of each other's AI models. Reuters reported Chinese authorities have engaged in similar talks with domestic companies to prevent the use of homegrown AI overseas. Now, in addition, the Chinese Ministry of Industry and Information Technology has announced Anthropic's Claude Code includes a backdoor, which, it claims, poses a serious threat. Now, we can only expect to hear plenty more about this in the coming weeks, months, possibly years. DuckDuckGo announced that it can now block most video ads, particularly those on YouTube, when a video is playing in its browser. In a blog post about the new feature, the company explained that its YouTube ad detection and blocking is based on the open-source community filter lists from uBlock Origin. DuckDuckGo noted that it may also apply its own rules for better compatibility, but viewers may see longer buffering times when using the blocker, and there may still be some unexpected hiccups. The blocking feature will be on by default for most DuckDuckGo users on iPhone, Windows, and Mac. It will be automatically enabled soon on Android, but can be manually activated in the browser settings menu in the meantime. All platforms can also have YouTube ad blocking turned on or off from the settings menu. And just to state the obvious, remember, you'll actually have to be watching the video in the DuckDuckGo browser rather than in the YouTube app in order to take advantage of the blocker. Thanks for listening. There's more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Mariella Moon, Daniel Cooper, and Anna Washenko. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news from Engadget.